Welcome back. Tonight's notes are going to be on the zero product property. Okay. So this is on, page 36. And let's go ahead and put this on our table of contents as well. Because we're going to come back to this a lot. Okay, so it's on our table of contents. We'll flip back to page 36. Zero product property. All right, so let's say we have something that looks like this. A times B equals 0. Okay, so we have something times something equaling 0. Okay, so we have, let's say that we know that A is 6. What does B have to be in order for this to work? Hopefully you said B is 0. Okay, what if we know B? Then A would have to be 0. Okay, so the definition here is when the product of two or more factors is 0, one of those factors must be 0. So what that means is, given this, then A equals 0 or B equals 0. One of them has to be 0 in order for that to work. So, when do we use this? Well, let's do an example. So if we have something that looks like that, it's the same thing. This one's A, this one's B. So that means one has to be 0. So what you do is you set both factors equal to 0. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to set 2x minus 5 equals 0, and then you're going to set x plus 5 equals 0. And then you're going to solve both of them. So we solve both for x by adding 5. That'll be 2x equals 5, divide by 2. X equals 5 halves. Over here, x equals negative 5. And both of those are answers. You have two answers here. Okay, that's all you do for zero product property. But what if it looks like this? Okay, what if it looks like that? Well, this looks like something we did last unit. What does that look like? What does it look like that we need to do to it? Okay, so yeah, we factored this. We factored this to make it look something like that, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So our first step here, will be to factor. Okay, so we're going to factor that the exact same way as we've always factored. I make my box. And we factor x squared minus 5. That'll be negative 5x squared. Adding to 4x. So multiplying to negative 5, adding to 4, that'll be a 5x and a negative 1x. X squared and negative x have an x in common. 5x and 5 have a plus 5, have an x, and they have a negative 1. So our factors are x plus 5 and x minus 1. But we can't forget to pull down that 0. Okay? Because that's important. That tells us that we need to use zero product property. Then from there, our step 2 is going to be to set them both equal to 0. So I'm going to set x plus 5 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. Solve both. X equals negative 5. And over here, x equals 1. Okay? And those are your two answers. That's how you solve something that looks like that. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you do one of these examples, and then I'm going to go over it. So go ahead. I'm going to, back up. I'm going to write a problem down. I want you, the video is going to pause. I want you to try to see what the first step will be, and then I'm going to go over that first step, then I'm going to give you time to go. So this will be, okay. So what do you think the first step to this problem will be? Is this in a form that we can factor? Well, not yet, right? Normally we have an x squared, an x, and then a number. So the first step here will be to get it equal to 0. It has to be equal to 0 to use the zero product property. Okay, so I'm going to start by subtracting 6. So that makes this side equal to 0. And now I have this, which I can factor. So now the video is going to pause. You're going to factor that and try to solve it all the way down. Then I'm going to go over it. So after we have this, let's go ahead and factor. So I'm going to put this in my box. That'll be negative 6x squared, adding to 1x. Multiplying a negative 6, adding to 1, that'll be a 3x and a negative 2x. We have x plus 3, x minus 2. So that'll be 0 equals x plus 3, x minus 2. Then set both equal to 0. And that'll be x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, x equals negative 3, and x equals 2. Okay. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.